So Ghana spent $250 million on the All Africa Games. Where did all the $245 million go? Why did the president just order a forensic audit into its expenditure? My name is Chris, and I'm here to break or nail it, of course, with my hammer. Be my guest right after this. The 13th African Games held last year costed the country a whopping $245 million, and the president is now ordering a forensic audit into the expenditure of the amount. Now, scandalous as it sounds, people raised questions about it during the XY MPP administration to no avail. A new report submitted to the president has triggered a forensic audit into it. The 13th All Africa Games, held from the 8th of March to the 23rd of March 2024, saw over 5,000 athletes across the African continent competing in 29 sporting disciplines. This was the first time Ghana was hosting an event of such magnitude, showcasing the country's capability of doing so and its cultural and dynamic atmosphere. As part of the hosting of the event, it featured media coverage from GBC, performances from the likes of Stonebwoy, Rihala, and Kim Promise on the closing ceremony, among other expenditures that took place. But the amount quoted for the entire event is jaw-dropping, almost $250 million, and that leaves much to be desired. That's the reason why there is currently a forensic audit being undertaken by the Attorney General. Now, what triggered this whole forensic audit into an event of last year, almost to the end of the year, now that such thing is being triggered? Following a report submitted by the National Intelligence Bureau, NIB, an audit to examine all the financial and operational components of the games, including procurement processes, expenditures, infrastructure, and post-event management, has been triggered by the president. So it's the National Intelligence Bureau's report that drew the president's attention onto this matter to trigger the investigation. A little bit of breakdown on some of the costs that have been popping up online. According to the organizers of the event, infrastructure cost alone on the All Africa Games, the 13th All Africa Games, the University of Ghana Stadium, which was about 70% complete as at the time that the organizers took over to complete it for the African Games. They were supposed to complete only 30% of the stadium, and they spent 34 million on just completing the 30% left of the project. But Timan Sports Complex, which they claim they expended over $145 million on it. Also, the Games Village also costed them 16 million. Another scandalous expenditure attached to this was the $3 million that they allegedly paid to GBC. GBC is the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GTV, as we all know.
The 13th African Games, and I can confirm that full payment have made to GBC.
Do you have perchance what the amount was?
I can't recall the exact amount, but I know that it's in the excess of $3 million US dollars.
You paid GBC
yes.
in excess of $3 million US dollars yes. for coverage of the All Africa Games.
Yes.
The benefit total payment to GBC's for GBC's benefit, I repeat, was $105,000 US dollars, and that is what we got.
If a broadcaster like GBC had $3 million, do you think the coverage that they gave would have been the coverage that they actually delivered? Probably somebody is not telling us something about this. Where did the $3 million that they supposedly paid to GBC go? Since GBC allegedly never took receipt of any such amount. And now we're in 2025, almost to the end of the year, and we've gotten wind of the fact that they spent almost $250 million on that project. Like, can you just fathom the whole idea of sitting down and spending almost $250 million on this small games that was being hosted in the country, when our sporting facilities, most of them are in a deplorable state Most of our buildings are dilapidated. Basically, we don't have any proper sporting infrastructure. That's even the reason why they had to continue the University of Ghana Stadium, which was like about 70% complete at the time that they were picking it up. And they ended up spending almost over 34 million on it, right? The Boteman Sports Complex. As we speak right now, it's nothing to write home about after spending 145 million on it. As for the sports village of 16 million and the rest, the least said about them, the better. But the issue still remains. What exactly went into the cost component that brought us to the figure of nearly half quarter of a billion? It's in light of this that the president has directed the Auditor General to undertake a forensic audit on all financial and operational aspects of the 13th All Africa Games, and it has the government, President Mahama, by the way, has given the AG, the Attorney General, up to the second week of December to submit a report, a comprehensive report on the expenditure that went to the All Africa Games, the 13th African Games that happened last year. What do you think went into this? Do you think that the project or the execution of the All African Games that we saw last year um, merits an amount of about almost half quarter a billion? Should we have spent such an amount on hosting just the All African Games, or there was something better we could have done? Obviously, there was something better we could have done about it, but what are your thoughts on the whopping 245 million that was allegedly spent on the project? This has been Talk Chow. My name is Chris, and I was here to break or nail it. Be my judge.